talk a little bit about the Ancestry DNA reports. I have been updated a couple of times. The update I got last fall was a little different than the update I got this time, but I said they're always adjusting the DNA as they go, and I said that doesn't mean I'm going to stay on there forever. I mean, it's expensive, so by the end of July, we'll be done. We studied for like the last 3 years, so I'm like, it's time to move on. We've got quite a bit of information. It was well worth it, I guess, and it's nice to meet other relatives, nice to find out your history. It's all exciting. We're compiling them in some little books, and then we'll give them to relatives. And so it's nice to know a family history, and since we did it now, I won't need to do this when I'm 60 or 70, because it's already been done. Researched thoroughly and completely. So, and also another update they had was dividing it into parent 1 and parent 2. They can tell that which parent has which. Can't say if it's mom or dad, but they can tell which parent. There's 2 different parents. So we sort of could figure out from the split, because we know that my dad is more English and my mom is more German. So whichever one had the higher amount, we could figure out which one was which. Okay, so we could figure out which was which. And there was one they had one time I was 3% Spanish, and I'm like, I don't think there's much Spanish in the family. But then this time, this report, they switched it to 3% French, which made more sense because there's a lot more French names more recently. So I'm like, okay, so I'm French. And they said that, there's sometimes that you have a DNA that's very close, and it's hard to tell the difference. But I think in this case, it was French. But, yeah, more Scottish than I thought. And almost, Scottish and German, and, of course, mostly English. And then I have, Sweden and Denmark. And, yeah, I'm very, very European. So, like I said, Europe's my second favorite. After America, Europe's my favorite country. My favorite continent. And, of course, my favorite country would be England, because my DNA is majority English. So, I said, it's interesting. I wonder, what things that are baked into your DNA. Like I said, would England be my favorite country because I am mostly English? I like all the English writers and the actors and dramatists and it'd be interesting to explore what kind of things you pass down in your DNA as far as things that would come out in everyday life, and not just in looks or just in interests or personality traits, but in not necessarily memories, but in preferences. Would I prefer more English things than I'm English? Would I prefer some, I said I prefer the French language. I like it for my second favorite language, but even though I'm not very much French, just a little bit. And just wondering if there's certain things in your DNA that programs you to like certain things, and I'm sure there is. I wish they'd study that. That would be very interesting. But I suppose it's kind of a broad topic and hard to distinguish. But anyway, so here's my latest results. Okay, so they've given me another update since that last video in which they got rid of my French, and my Scotland is way up. So, 32% total, England and Northwestern Europe, 28% German, 22% Scotland, 8% Sweden, Denmark, 6% Ireland. I'm surprised. I'm so Scottish. Okay. Then, I didn't zoom in that much on the other one. Anyway, well, the point is, you can see that only, 2% Norway and 2% Wales. So, that's my updated results. Okay, and Ancestry has a lot of very interesting tools and secrets and tips and tricks, so I definitely would say it's worth it. I mean, you might not want to stay on and research for 3 or 4 years like we did, but I'd say, you know, at least by 6 months, a year, and, you know, find your relatives and see what's what. And it's exciting. It's an adventure. And I think it makes you feel like more of a part of life. You feel like you are a part of the fabric of history, especially if you had some relatives, ancestors who were a little bit famous, and makes you sort of feel, you know, like there's more expected of you because you had some famous ancestors, and you are tasked with a responsibility of, you know, keeping the world a good place and this trust. You know, it gives you a little feeling of pride and a feeling of purpose to be able to know some of your history. So, all right, thank you for watching. You take care. Talk to you later. Bye.